What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're doing our third team of the season recaps for this series. We're doing the New York Jets now, who have the third overall pick in this upcoming 2019 NFL Draft. This is a team, the New York Jets, who have been struggling in all areas of the football. You know, a lot of guys have gotten hurt. A lot of guys are banged up. On top of that, you don't have the best roster. Your pass rush isn't good. You know, all that, and you're dealing with the likes of a rookie quarterback in Sam Darnold, who's obviously going to make his rookie mistakes. He's not going to play like a Pro Bowler just yet, but he's very promising, and I think you guys made the right choice in Sam Darnold besides Josh Rosen. I know a lot of people were saying that they wanted Josh Rosen instead of Sam Darnold, and a lot of people were probably disappointed to get Sam Darnold instead of Josh Rosen, but I think Sam Darnold was a much better choice there, and I think he has shown that he has had a better play than Josh Rosen. We'll see, because the Jets had something to give Sam Darnold other than Josh Rosen, but this is not a comparison to that. This is the season recap for the New York Jets. Here's the thing. I do like Sam Darnold there. Do I think he's going to be the next great quarterback for the Jets? I'm still on the fence on that. I don't think that he's going to... I think he had a pretty decent rookie season. I don't think he had a bad rookie season compared... There's a lot of NFL greats that had terrible rookie seasons, worse than he has. So I think he's off to a good start. I don't think he's off to a bad start whatsoever. You've seen a lot of flashes in his play. You had one where, you know, obviously where they demolished the Jets week 1, and everybody thought maybe the Jets are something to look forward to in this season. That wasn't the case. They stuck with it against Indianapolis before Indianapolis completely went off. That was the last loss that Indianapolis had before they went on their crazy streak, was a loss against the Jets here, in which they did beat them like 42-34, something like that. So great job for the Jets there. So they've shown, and they also stuck with Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay, I believe. Or was it at Green Bay or was it at New York? I think it was at New York. But still, it was against Aaron Rodgers. I know that the Green Bay Packers aren't as good anymore as they used to be, but it's still against Aaron Rodgers. Sam Darnold versus Aaron Rodgers, and they when they went to overtime, I believe it was like 38-38 in overtime. So something like that. So you know, great play by Sam Darnold, and he's done a good job, and he's proven to the Jets already, I think, that, you know, he belongs with the New York Jets and that he can win for the New York Jets. And then just recently, I think this came out news today as I'm recording this, that Adam Gase was hired as the Dolphins head coach, and I think a lot of people are taking this to be a very bad thing. I thought it was a terrible hire at first too, but you know, I did watch Jet Central's video. Hopefully he's watching this video. What's going on, man? I did watch your video on how to be positive for Adam Gase, and you brought up a lot of great points. You brought up the fact that you know, he has an underdog mentality. You know, he was fired from the Dolphins. He wants to stay in the division. He wants to prove to Miami Dolphins they made a mistake, and he's definitely going to try to do that with the New York Jets, try to make them a winning franchise. And I think if Adam Gase gets the Jets to be a winning franchise again, that would be so significant, because the Miami Dolphins, you know, they've had a better rosters in the past. They have a better roster right now, and the Jets, if he finds a way to build a team with the Jets, you know, he could really shove it in their face. So with the hiring of Adam Gase, like I said, another great point that, you know, so with the hiring of Adam Gase, another great point that Jet Central made is that Adam Gase knows how to beat these other teams. He's beaten the Jets plenty of times. He's beaten the Bills plenty of times. He's even beaten the Patriots a couple of times. And so when you mix all that together, you know, he knows how to beat these AFC East teams. He already knows how to do that, and that's something I think that the Jets front office really looked at. Like, listen, this guy in the division helped the Miami Dolphins beat teams in the division that had a decent record in the division. So I think that's what they liked. I think now, on top of that, another thing Jet Central mentioned as well is that he knows the ins and outs of the Miami Dolphins. He knows how players play. He knows the tendencies of these players and what they run and things like that, what their strengths and what their weaknesses are. Believe it or not, that is a big deal. I mean, when you're a coach for a team, on top of that, he coached that team for a couple of years, like 2 or 3 years. When you coach a team for that long, you know how players are. You're coaching them. You're around them 24/7. You're watching them play. You're evaluating them, film session and stuff like that. You know how these guys are playing. As long as they keep around the same roster as the Miami Dolphins have now, as long as they keep around the same roster, he should be able to figure them out pretty easily. So with all that being said, they still need an offensive coordinator. They still need a defensive coordinator. They still need a special teams guy. I think they fired everybody. That's what I'm looking at on ourlads.com. So they fired everybody. So That being said, they're going to start fresh. We're still going to see who they bring in and things like that. We're going to see if there's going to be any scheme changes and things like that. I know the Jets run a 3-4 now. I don't know if they're going to still continue to run a 3-4. Depends on who they bring in. So, all that being said, let's get on to the team stats for the New York Jets. I just want to quickly note out, they went 4-12 this year, 4th in the AFC East. Their best game, in my opinion, was Week 1 against the Detroit Lions. That game was over by the first quarter. Great job for the New York Jets there. I would have said the Indianapolis Colts if it was during the Colts run when they were like beating everybody, and then the Jets come and they beat them. But this was this is the last loss that the Colts had before they went on their run. So this was the last loss. This is when they like really stuck their foot in the ground and started winning games. This was the last loss. So I'm gonna still give it the Week 1 win was a better win than the Colts win because they allowed a lot more points. They only allowed 17 points. So Detroit 48-17, and their worst game was when they lost to the New England Patriots 38-3, in which they're supposed to be, pretty evenly matched. They're supposed to be the rivals in the AFC East, and they did beat them in that Miami Miracle. If it wasn't for that, they would have got swept, but still, that's neither here or there. Anyway, offensively, here we go. The points per game offensively, 20.8, just around 21 points. That's 23rd in the league. Total yards, 299. That is not good. 299 is not, obviously that's not anything over 300. You really want to have like about 250 passing yards and about 100 or 110 rushing yards. That's like average right there, and they're only getting 299, so that's not good there. Passing 197, and you're going to see that from rookie quarterbacks. They're not going to pass it as much. When it comes to these play callers, they usually have the quarterback not throw as much unless they're in a winning situation and they can't run, or the run is shut down, things like that. Rushing, they are 26th in the league with 101 rushing yards. Defensively, it's not very good, so they didn't do the offense any justice. They're giving up about 27 points a game, or almost 28, 27.6. That's 29th in the league. They're giving up 380 yards per game. That's a good 80 or 81 yards more than what their offense is putting up. So that's not good, especially when time of possession kind of factors in. That's 28th in the league. Passing, 24th in the league, and rushing, 26th in the league. 26th in the league, 126 yards on the ground. So that's not very good. That's something they need to shape up at. Yes, I get it. They had a couple injuries, but I'm looking at the guys here. Leonard Williams, Steve McClendon, Henry Anderson has done pretty good for you guys in the pass rush. Got 7 sacks for you guys. So there shouldn't be a terrible reason why you guys aren't stopping the run. Avery Williamson is pretty good at stopping the run. You got some guys there. You have to stop the run better than that. That shouldn't account for 26th in the league. And then your turnover ratio is actually -10, which is not bad for the 3rd overall pick. We've seen, if you guys watch my other season recaps, you got the 49ers were like -25. They were -25. With that being said, you got to get your offense better, and I think it's going to get better if you add a big #1 threat for Sam Darnold. Jermaine Kearse and Quincy Nunwa and Robby Anderson just isn't going to cut it. Those aren't #1 receivers. You need a #1. Those are a bunch of #2s in my opinion. So you need a #1 wide receiver. And then you got to, of course, develop Sam Darnold. I think you guys will be fine. You guys have a decent run game. Isaiah Crowell got hurt. That's when you guys kind of went down the hill a little bit. Bilal Powell also got put on IR. So your 2 top running backs were put on IR. So, you can't really do much besides that. And you guys might get a Le'Veon Bell. You guys might get an Antonio Brown in the future. So we'll see what happens. So then, moving on. Passing, your passing leader is Sam Darnold with 2,865 yards, a 57.7 completion percentage, 17 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, sacked 30 times, and a QBR of 77.6. Listen, it's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. He's under 3,000 yards. I would have liked to see him get more than that. But like I said, you've got no #1 wide receiver, and Quincy Nunwa got hurt towards the end of the season. And then your running game was all right because you had your 2 top backs get hurt. And like I said, you don't have the best, the greatest offensive line. You don't have the greatest wide receiving core. So you got to give him some more weapons. I think he will succeed. Sacked 30 times. Honestly, it's not that much compared to how many people are getting sacked nowadays in the league. You've got your 50s, your 60s, and stuff like that. So 30 times is right there. It's fine. I don't think it's too bad. You look at the running game. Isaiah Crowell leads the way with 143 attempts, 685 yards, 4.8 yards per carry, and 6 touchdowns. You got Bilal Powell, just about 343 yards and 4.3 yards a carry, no touchdowns. Elijah McGuire, 276 yards on the ground, only 3 yards a carry, so that's not good there, and 3 touchdowns. So, you know what, not a very balanced attack for your running game. I like the running backs that you do have. You know, Bilal Powell and Elijah McGuire are very good complementary backs. I don't know if Isaiah Crowell is fully a #1 back. I think you need to split carries with him somehow, but I think he's still a very good back. I remember he had like a 200-yard game for you in one of these games this year, so great job for the running game for New York so far. You look at the passing game, the receivers. Your leading receiver was Robby Anderson with 752 yards. That is not good. 6 touchdowns, yes, but Robby Anderson is your burner, kind of like a Deshaun Jackson type player. You know, he shouldn't be the one just completely dominating in receiving right now, and he's your #1 receiver. He's only 752 yards, so it needs to be more than that. 6 touchdowns is pretty good, not bad for a receiver like him. Then you got your rookie Chris Herndon, who showed up, 502 yards for him, not bad. 4 touchdowns, not bad. From your, I believe he is your he's a tight end, actually, 4th round. From the 4th round, your tight end from the 4th round, so not bad from your tight end from the 4th round. Quincy Enunwa, like I said, he got hurt, but towards the end of the season, he only had 449 yards and a touchdown. I believe he got hurt early on in the season, too. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he had some injury problems the whole year. And then Jermaine Kearse with 371 yards, not good at all. Defensively, Jamal Adams, your Pro Bowler, I think he made it to the All-Pro as well. He made it, you know, he's your leading tackler right now. Actually, the leading tackler is Avery Williamson with 121, and then Jamal Adams with 115. So Avery Williamson has become a really good player for you guys at inside linebacker. You know, you look at him with the Titans, and he was a decent linebacker. You know, a lot, you know, Sports Fan Entertainment, I watch him a lot. MJ, you know, he complained about Avery Williamson, called him average Williamson, that he doesn't tackle for loss and stuff, or stop the run, things like that. But he really had a really good year with New York, a way better year than he's ever had with the Titans. So great job for Avery Williamson, and you're finding yourself a pretty decent inside linebacker in free agency. So great job there. You have Jamal Adams, 2nd-year safety, just a complete monster. You guys are lucky to have him. Just a better version of Landon Collins could ever be. A box safety that can cover. You know, that's what Jamal Adams is. So you know, great job by Jamal Adams, and great year for him. 3.5 sacks. And 3 forced fumbles for Jamal Adams. On top of that, 115 tackles. Avery Williamson had 3 sacks as well with 2 forced fumbles. So, great job there. Leading the way in sacks was Jordan Jenkins and Henry Anderson. So, one of your defensive ends, Henry Anderson, and one of your linebackers, Jordan Jenkins, 7 sacks. So, not too bad. You guys definitely need to get back to how you guys used to be. The Jets used to be, you know, back in the Rex Ryan days, Jets used to be just phenomenal when it comes to the pass rush. Now they really fell down a cliff, getting rid of guys like Sheldon Richardson and guys like that. So, you know, you guys got to get back to that. You guys got to get back to that pass rush. We look at your review when it comes to the draft, your draft class. And it's not terrible. It's not bad. You know, you got Sam Darnold, obviously, pretty good, 3rd overall, pretty good. He's going to be a great player for you. Then you got Nathan Shepard in the 3rd round. I didn't see too much about how he's done. He's backup for Henry Anderson, and I don't think he's done much for you guys. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Nathan Shepard. Chris Herndon at tight end. You know, he didn't have a bad year for you. 502 yards is not bad. 4 touchdowns, not bad. I'd like to see more receptions from him, only 39. But, you know, not bad rookie year for the 4th round pick. Then you have Parry Nickerson at cornerback. Foley, Fatukasi in the 6th round, and then Trenton Cannon, your running back from the 6th round. That was your last pick there, and I think he was fine for you guys. I don't think he didn't really do much. Of course, he's a 6th round pick, and you guys had a couple other backs ahead of him, like Elijah McGuire, you know, Bilal Powell, guys like that. And, of course, Isaiah Crowell. So, all that being said, you guys have $104 million in cap. You guys can't go wrong here. Get yourself the biggest free agents you can. If you want to get yourself, like I don't know, There's Alan Bailey in the from the Kansas City. He's a pretty good 3-4 defensive end and could get you some sacks. So good in the pass rush. If you guys want to go there, you guys can get Ezekiel Ansah. He's a 4-3 guy, so I don't know if you want to fit him somehow in that 3-4 that you guys run. But you guys have to make a big push on Le'Veon Bell because the Colts are gonna try to get him. I don't know who else is gonna try to get Le'Veon Bell, but I think you guys need Le'Veon Bell. I know Isaiah Crowell is fine and things like that, but Isaiah Crowell, like I said, is not a number 1 back. He'll be perfect behind Le'Veon Bell. Let Le'Veon Bell come into New York and just reamp that running game and give Sam Darnold someone to hand off to, and that'll be a consistent player in that backfield. Le'Veon Bell will be a great addition to your team. If you guys want to try to trade for Antonio Brown as well, you have the cap to do so. I think you guys could try to trade for, I don't know who you're going to trade for. Your roster isn't very good. It's going to have to come from picks, but you know, Antonio Brown, you guys gotta try to beat out San Francisco because San Francisco is making a big push as far as trying to trade for a big wide receiver. They tried for OBJ. They're gonna try for Antonio Brown. So you guys gotta try to snatch him up before anybody else does because I don't think he's gonna stay with Pittsburgh any much longer. So $104 million in cap. Those are your 2 biggest targets you guys need to get. You guys can get guys like a Dante Moncrief and a Randall Cobb and a couple other guys there. But like I said, you guys have a bunch of number 2s, and you'll just bring in more number 2s in here. You need to find yourself a good number 1 wide receiver. I think the only way you can do that is really trade for one because the wide receivers right now in free agency is not looking good. Like I said, Dante Moncrief, Randall Cobb, Tavon Austin, Golden Tate, which I think is going to be re-signed by the Eagles. And then you got John Brown and Ryan Grant. I mean, the wide receiver class for free agency is not looking good. So make sure you try to get yourself an Antonio Brown. So with that being said, let's go over your free agents right now. Who should you keep? Who should you let go of? Josh McCown, let him go. He's mentored enough for Sam Darnold. You just let him go. Avery Williamson, you must re-sign him. He's your leading tackler. Had 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Very good year with New York. Go ahead and re-sign him. Cornerback Morris Claiborne. Listen, without Morris Claiborne, without Buster Skrine, you guys are not looking good right now as far as the secondary goes. You got to get at least one of these guys. You got Morris Claiborne, you got Buster Skrine. At least sign one of these guys. I would say Morris Claiborne. He's better to me than Buster Skrine is. Buster Skrine is just a slot guy. Go ahead and get yourself Morris Claiborne. If you guys want to go in the draft, a 3rd overall, and get Greedy Williams, I say go for it. If you guys want to get a Josh Allen, I say go for it, but Greedy Williams will be a good pick here as well. But get yourself at least one of these cornerbacks back into this game, into your team. Guard James Carpenter, I say resign him. Jermaine Kearse, you can re-sign him. I don't think he's going to be asking for big money, so go ahead and re-sign him, get some competition in the training camp, and then hopefully you guys grab yourself a number 1 wide receiver in the process. Running back Bilal Powell, I think he's like one of the longest tenured New York Jets on that roster right now, so go ahead and re-sign him. Defensive tackle Steve McClendon, go ahead and re-sign him. Ben Njalana, he's one of the better swing tackles in the league. Do not let go of him. You guys want to keep him for any injuries that go on that line on the tackle spot. Rontez Miles, he's been pretty good for you guys. Don't see why you shouldn't re-sign him. A couple other guys. There's a lot of free agents for the Jets, guys. I apologize. I'm not going to read off every single free agent. There's a bunch of unrestricted, bunch of restricted, a bunch of some ERFA. I forgot what that stands for. But a bunch of guys there. I mean, the list is like 30 players. I'm not going to go through every one of them. I'm just going to go through who is important to me. So Jeremy Atachu, he's older, but if you guys want to add some competition or get some veteran presence in that locker room, go ahead and re-sign Jeremy Atachu. Rashard Matthews, what has he done for you? You know, I don't get Rashard Matthews. He demanded a trade or demanded his release with the Titans because he wasn't getting enough looks or whatever, but he comes to the Jets and really does relatively nothing. So I don't see why he would want to stay with New York, and I don't see why you want to keep him in New York. I say let Rashard Matthews go. Then you look at, let's see, Andre Roberts. He's one of the better return men in the league. Go ahead and re-sign Andre Roberts. On top of that, he can do some damage in the receiving game. So go ahead and re-sign Andre Roberts. And that's pretty much the bigger, there's like tight end Neil Sterling and guys like that. Josh Martin, outside linebacker, re-sign those two. You guys can re-sign those two. I wouldn't mind that whatsoever. But as far as it goes, my final section here, your top 3 needs. I'm going to give you 3 needs and 2 honorable mention needs. So your top 3 needs is cornerback for sure. If you guys don't re-sign Morris Claiborne and Buster Screen, if you let them walk, you guys definitely need to revitalize that cornerback core. Then you look at wide receiver. You need to find yourself a #1 wide receiver. Like I said, you guys got a bunch of #2s. You guys can make it work with #2s, but you need that one guy there. So wide receiver is a need. Outside linebacker is a need. Get that pass rush going. Like I said, Josh Allen is in this draft. If Nick Bosa were to fall a little bit, because this whole Kyler Murray talk right now, so if Nick Bosa falls to you guys, go ahead and grab him up. Then your 2 honorable mentions is running back. Le'Veon Bell would be a good option, and also an offensive lineman, preferably in the interior. You guys can go also tackles as well. Who are your tackles right now? Kelvin Beachum and Brent Quavle. I don't know, Quavle, I don't know, but he's also a free agent too, so if you guys let him go, you guys got nobody on that right tackle spot. Make sure you guys grab yourself a right tackle in the draft or in free agency as well. So with all that being said, guys, that is my recap for the New York Jets. What I think right now for the New York Jets is, this is what I'm going to say for a lot of these teams in the top 10 of the draft order. You guys are developing a rookie quarterback right now. You guys need to build around him. $100 million in cap gives you no excuse to not target these bigger free agents. Now, this free agency isn't very, packed with a lot of good players, so you have to make a play early. You have to impress Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell early so they can sign to your team. These 2 players from the Pittsburgh Steelers can really help that team go from 4-12. Them themselves are probably going to get to about 4 wins. So, and then you help that offensive line, get a better right tackle in there. I'd say get a better left tackle too. Kelvin Beachum's all right, but he's not great. Spencer Long is old. You look at Jonathan Harris and Brian Winters. I think Brian Winters is all right, but you guys have to shape up that offensive line a little bit more for your young quarterback. So try to do yourself that. Get him some more weapons. I'd like you to get a better tight end. Jordan Leggett from Clemson. I believe he's from Clemson. Correct me if I'm wrong. Jordan Leggett from Clemson. Is he from Clemson? I don't know. Then you look at Clive Walford. He's pretty all right. And Christopher Herndon. I guess you're good. You're fine at the tight end spots, but get yourself a better wide receiver option. Your defense needs some pass rush, and you guys should be all right. Get that secondary. Pretty much everywhere, right, guys? Pretty much everywhere. Get that set up, but you guys have one of the better kickers in the league, too, with Jason Myers. Make sure you guys keep him around. He's one of the better kickers in the league. Make sure you guys keep him around. Andre Roberts, he's better in the return game, so keep him around. Special teams is a big factor as well. When you're a bad team, you need to try to get some good field position and stuff like that. So, all that being said, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about this season recap. Let me know what you guys think the Jets need to succeed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.